The cost of everything just keeps going up, and for many, it keeps getting harder just to get by. We've now reached a point where 90% of Americans are concerned about how expensive life has become. The cost of living has shot up 20 to 25% in the past 5 years. So where's the money going? First off, housing. Back in the days, a decent job often meant a shot at a good house. Now, not so much. Median home prices have shot up. The national median home price is $438,000. It was $270,000 back in 2020, a massive jump, and rents, they have climbed about 30% in that same time span. A big chunk of your money is gone before you even buy groceries, which also have gone up. Investors bought up a significant slice of homes, 25% of starter homes, and that reduction of supply increases prices for everyone. Next up, healthcare. The US spends about $15,000 a year per person on healthcare. That's more than double what other rich countries spend. That's called freedom. And this means the fear of getting sick and going broke, even with insurance, is real. About 1 in 5 US adults have medical debt, and it's the leading cause of bankruptcy. And who could forget about education? Supposedly the key to a better life. But getting that degree, the price tag more than double what it was in the year 2000 after adjusting for inflation. So now we have a massive student loan crisis. The average grad is now looking at $38,000 in federal loans. Now, you could look at other countries and think they've got it figured out with cheap healthcare and education. And yeah, often the direct cost is lower, usually because taxes are higher, but the cost savings on healthcare and education are effectively used to inflate housing prices in countries around the globe that actually lead to much higher housing costs relative to income. Think of places like Canada, Europe, and Asia. The price of homes compared to the average income can be brutal. So different problems, same story. Costs are eating up more of people's income worldwide, especially from housing. So how do you get to work? Transportation, and those costs have gone up massively. The average price of a new car is around $50,000. That works out to a monthly cost of about $750 for a new car, which is $9,000 a year. Used cars are still pricey, with an average payment of $525 a month or $6,300 a year. Families often spend 15 to 20% of their budget on transportation costs alone. This would all be a bit more manageable if paychecks were keeping up, but they are not. US productivity increased by about 65% from 1979 to 2022, but the typical worker's hourly pay only went up about 15% during that same time. If the federal minimum wage had kept up with productivity since 1968, it'd be over $24 an hour. And yet the US minimum wage is only $7.25, and that drives down wages for workers earning slightly above minimum levels. So costs are up, but to make it worse, debt. The US credit card debt alone has hit 1.1 trillion in 2024. That is a record, and it keeps going up. With interest rates up, paying it all back is even harder. The average interest rate on credit cards is now around 24%. It is a vicious cycle. Stuff costs more, so you borrow more. Then the borrowing costs more, so you've got even less, and you fall more and more behind. So let's break down why prices are going up. US corporate profits have basically doubled since early 2020. Those in control of the price levers have weaponized a global pandemic so they can redistribute $2 trillion more from the middle class to themselves. And that's why the healthcare, the food, and transportation costs have become higher than ever, where you are then forced to put basic expenses on credit cards, which are now at record high levels of interest, and it creates record high debt. So they raise prices on you, they take more of your income, and then they use that profit that they make and they buy up the housing so they can take away the future of you so that they can then put the very idea of a roof over someone's head on a monthly subscription service. And your government, instead of protecting you, they are siphoning money through taxes, and then they redistribute that in the form of corporate welfare. So the stocks they buy can keep going up further, and they can enrich themselves more and more. For now, it would appear business and governments seem fixated on expanding their own power and profits rather than trying to help address the unsustainable cost of living. So we should expect costs to continue rising. This has been Blinded by Logic. Thanks for watching.